Hi guys, this is Carla and I'm back here with a review for the movie Love and Mercy, which is based on the life of Brian Wilson, who was the leader of the Beach Boys. Um, I just watched the movie today. I've been wanting to watch it for a long time because honestly, and I have to admit this up front, I don't know much about the life of Brian Wilson. Honestly, I'm too young to have been a fan of the Beach Boys when they were actually, in vogue. So I only know of them like from afterward. My parents used to listen to that music, I guess, and I recognize the songs, of course, but I really only knew Brian Wilson as kind of Carney Wilson's father or something, like vague, some vague knowledge about him. And I knew that he had some sort of problems that led to, problems with the band and whatever, but mostly I thought it was just drugs. Honestly, I didn't know he was actually, mentally ill at any point. So, um, when I, first read the synopsis for the movie, I thought, sounds interesting. I mean, I never knew about any of this. So, I thought it'd be interesting to know, and I'm a big fan of Elizabeth Banks, so I thought, hey, why not? And Paul Dano is awesome too. So, I thought, hey, I should give it a try. It was also getting great reviews, so thought I might as well, see it once, see what I think. Right, so this is a strange movie. Not that the movie is strange, it's just a strange movie to review for me because intellectually, I can tell it's a great movie. Like, I know my brain tells me this is an amazing movie. The performances were great. I mean, Paul Dano was fantastic, but like even John Cusack did really good with the role. But the one I really loved in it was Elizabeth Banks. Actually, like she put so much. She showed so much emotion in a role, and every time she tried to do something and tried to understand things or what was happening or trying to help somehow, and you could see that she felt impotent. You could just see it in her face. I thought she was amazing in this role. Like I've always loved her, like in her comedy roles and in as Effie in the Hunger Games. But she can be really good in drama too, and this just showed it. And all the performances were great. Like around the entire movie, Paul Giamatti. I mean, I like him, but at the same time, I keep thinking that he keeps kind of playing these roles of, the mean old guy kind of role, the manipulative, and he's great at it, so I kind of get it, but I wish, I could see him in a different sort of light. I love Jake Abel. It's always great to see him in anything. So yeah, I mean, the performances were amazing. The story was incredible. I love the way they, like, just the cinematography, the way they kept shooting, like in between the flashbacks and the present time was fantastic. So yeah, in my head, I can totally agree with the critics who rightly so say that this is a great movie, because it is. I just don't know that it's actually a movie that I don't think it's a movie that I would actually come back and watch again, because it was actually hard for me to get through. Not necessarily because the movie was bad, just because it made me uncomfortable. But I mean that uncomfortable in a good way. Like, I think the movie was supposed to make me feel like that. It was just the whole idea that there was something so obviously wrong with this guy. And he had so many people around him all the time. I mean, not just his father, who honestly didn't seem to care all that much, or even his band. His brother seemed to care about him. Even his cousin, when he was, talking about why his songs weren't all that great, you could tell that he cared about him. So this is a guy who had a family. He had a wife. He had kids. He had a family, and nobody kind of tried to help, and it made me really uncomfortable. But I think that's a good thing. I think I was supposed to feel that way from the movie, so it's not a criticism at all. It's just one of those things where I was kind of squirming the whole time, and I don't know that I want to necessarily go through that again, if that makes sense. It's an amazing movie, and I think everybody should see it at least once. But at the same time, I don't know that I would ever watch it a second time, because it makes me feel so uncomfortable. Like, I feel so bad for this poor man. That everybody's kind of just setting him aside or using him, or I don't know, I just felt so bad for him that it made me uncomfortable. Like, third party uncomfortableness. Just me sitting there watching and just thinking, oh my god, why can nobody see that there's something wrong with him? It was very intense for me. So I don't know that this is a movie that I could like buy on DVD and watch over and over again, but I recognize that that is exactly kind of what makes it good. It's amazing because it makes you feel so much for this poor guy, and the performances were great, and I just overall really, really thought it was a very well done movie. I wasn't honestly expecting too much of it, really, because it kind of came out of nowhere. Suddenly it started getting all this buzz, and I'm like, love and mercy. I never really expected to even be interested in a movie about Brian Wilson, but I was. So I wasn't expecting too much of it, but I thought it could be one of those runaway hits that just kind of pops out of the blue, and it's suddenly a great movie. And I thought this one was really well done. It had a kind of understated nature. Like, it was definitely about loss of control and impotence in helping someone who you see is having a bad time, and just how horrible people can be to each other. And I loved just the entire concept of music that he had, even if it wasn't necessarily like, I'm not a musician, okay? I listen to a lot of music, but I'm not a musician, so I don't really like kind of get the whole like depth of it necessarily. I like music that I can enjoy. So it was interesting to see how an actual genius of music thinks. And it's one of those things where his songs are so deep that maybe they just go over a lot of people's heads, but the people who know about it recognize that they're good. I mean, it's not an album that I would buy to play in my iPhone or whatever. It's not the type of music you just kind of listen to just to feel good or just to pass the time. It's there's a depth to it, and if you're not kind of attuned to it, it might displease people. So it's interesting how they balance that, like his desire to make music that is kind of evocative, that has a meaning behind it. Like, even if he didn't entirely know what the meaning was, it came from within, He wanted to express what was inside him versus, commercial stuff that had to sell, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I could totally understand where his cousin was coming from, too. It's like, okay, this might be your baby, kind of, but we're not involved in this. It's all you. And we are trying to sell albums, so I kind of get it, and it was very interesting to see that balance. One thing I didn't necessarily like is that I wish I could have seen more, because, I mean, I know this movie was about a specific kind of, two specific kind of moments in Brian Wilson's life, is when he started to have, his mental problems, and then when he met his wife, Melinda. So I kind of understand that they focused on those 2 points, but since I don't know anything about his story, I would have liked to see a bit more. Like, I would have liked to see just how the band started, because all of a sudden they were in the band. The band was already famous, and they were touring, and he didn't want to go to Japan. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know he had stage fright. I didn't know anything. So I thought it could have been a bit better established. Also, I would have liked to see just how Wilson came to be a patient of Jean's. I thought it would have made a lot more sense to just kind of show that point, because I mean, last we saw of him in the past was that his hallucinations were actually, affecting his life. But we don't know how he got from that to actually, being completely taken over by his psychologist or whatever. So that would have been a good addition. And as someone who doesn't know anything about Brian Wilson or the Beach Boys, I kind of would have liked to see that. It would have helped things make sense. Especially, I mean, after I watched the movie, I went on Wikipedia and I found out that he actually got involved with Jean because Jean was treating his wife. And I'm like, what even happened to the wife? I don't even know. Like, I know they broke up, like they divorced at some point. I wish I could have seen that because I don't know anything about that. Did it have anything to do with her problems? Did it have anything to do with Jean? And just, how his family kind of came to let him be with Jean and just step back from him, because that was the most painful part. It's like, when Melinda was calling the mother and the brother, and just she was trying to get a hold of anyone who could be his family. What caused him to first walk away? Like, what happened there? I would have liked to see that. I recognize that would have made it a really long movie, but as a complete, newbie to anything 70s music, I would have liked to see a little bit about that. But, what was there was excellent. So I don't mind. I mean, the movie was great. It's just one of those movies that you can't just watch once or twice. Like, you can't just watch more than once, because they affect you so much. And for me, it was that. But I think that's a good thing. I mean, it's the highest compliment, the fact that I just, like, this movie hit me so hard. It made me feel so many things that I literally just don't know how I would ever watch it again. I actually mean it as a compliment. So I hope that comes across. But it's a really great movie, and I recommend it to everybody, especially, people who are interested in mental illness, because it's an amazing case. I mean, usually people have enough problems dealing with the mental illness as it is. If you add on to that someone who was trying to take advantage of you because of your mental illness, that's a heck of a plot. So, and I know it's real life, so that hits even harder. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend it to everyone. The performances are great. The storyline is amazing. The cinematography is fantastic, and it's a great movie. It's just, be aware that it's going to hit you hard, okay? Because that feeling of hopelessness, it just creeps up in you. And even after I finished, even after the credits rolled, I was like, oh my god, like I needed kind of to relax, because it hit me really hard. But yeah, that's it for Love and Mercy. Excellent movie. Be sure to visit our website, thegeekypub.com, for more reviews from other movies. We also have reviews for TV shows, for books, for games, for a ton of stuff, so be sure to stop by there and check those out. And also remember, if you guys want to be notified of our of whenever we upload a new review, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where they go up first. Even before we put them on the website, they're always up on YouTube first. So if you enjoy our reviews and want to be notified when we upload something, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that's it for now. I will see you guys in my next review. So, bye.